Welcome to this episode where we are talking about the final step of phase one on the path of the Empress, which is surrender. And then we are getting into the first step of the abundance initiations, which is phase two inside of the Empress Sanctuary. We are currently on a journey where every single Friday we are having live calls, ceremony, ritual, celebration, education, Q&A, support, activations. They are potent as fuck. And we are going down the 5-phase path of the Empress, which is the awakening journey that I've been going down for the past 8+ years. And I'm so excited to lead this live. I love being in connection with you. And the next best thing to being in person circling together is being on a Zoom call circling together. And so if you want support during 2026, this is a potent year. There's potent energy moving through. If you want support, come join the Empress Sanctuary. You can stay for a month. You can stay for the whole journey. You do you. It's membership style. All the details are going to be in the show notes below. So surrender. This is the final step of Empress. And if you're just listening to this episode, go back to the last few to see all of the 6 previous steps on this method or with this method. And surrender, probably one of the hardest fucking steps. Surrender. I've experienced surrender in so many ways. I have always said there is either forced surrender, where you literally have no other fucking option but to fucking surrender. And that one's kind of brutal. And then there's the conscious surrender where you're like, okay, I'm surrendered. And I kind of think that maybe a lot of us feel that way of like, oh, surrender is just like falling into the water and just flowing down the river. And oftentimes it's not, because our brains, our ego wants to keep us stuck. It wants to keep us in, fix the problem, fix the problem. Oh my God. And when you surrender, it's trusting something outside of yourself, which really isn't outside of yourself, but it's trusting God, source, universe, which I believe you are divinity in human form, and we are all God. And when we surrender to ourselves, we trust God, source, universe, we trust our body. It's really trust and surrender are symbiotic with each other, because it takes trust to surrender. And the more you can surrender in life, it's giving up the control. There's so much control. A lot of your problems are because you're controlling it. You're clinging onto it. You're holding onto it so tight. You're like, it has to happen in this way. Oh my God, I can barely remember that version of me. But I was so controlling. I tried to control everything, and I pissed a lot of people off from it. I'm very fiery. I'm a Leo sun, Aries moon, Sag rising. So I got a lot of fire in me. I have a lot of leadership. I like taking control. And especially if I feel like people aren't doing it in the right way, that's been something I've been unraveling. But surrender is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to just be like, okay, I surrender, I trust. I'm really at that point. 8+ years of my healing journey, I can finally say that I feel pretty damn surrendered in my life. And even if my external world is scary as fuck, there's moments of, oh my God. But then I pivot my thoughts and I'm like, nope, come back to your home, come back to your body. You are always taken care of. Something that I forgot to talk about in my Dragon Awakening year, I don't know, takeaway, whatever that episode was. I forgot to talk about how there was one really, really, really big moment where I realized I was saying to a lot of people, your words are spells. I was saying, I'm focusing on getting fully resourced. And then one day I was like, Lindsey, you've been fully resourced. Even when you were negative in your bank account multiple times this year, your bank paid for you. You still had a car, you still had a home, you still had your cat, you still had clothes, you had food. Like, you are resourced. Like, I'm not living on the streets. I'm not scrounging, like begging for money. Like, I am fully resourced in this moment right now. But the problem comes when you try to think about the future or lament over the past. If you're stressed, anxious, worried, overwhelmed, generally it's because you're not present. And so when you can come home to be, I'm present now. I'm going to focus on what I have and be grateful for what I have and be quiet enough and surrendered enough to receive the solution that I am looking for. And it really is one step at a time. The biggest thing that I've learned on my healing awakening journey is one step at a time. You can't fucking go 20 steps ahead, especially as a manny-gen, because that shit changes all of the fucking time. But it's really one step at a time. What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And that takes surrender. That takes trust. That takes giving up the steering wheel. And this is a big part of why I love human design, because I always say your body is like a self-driving Ferrari or whatever your favorite supercar is, and you're designed to be the passenger princess, but that takes surrender. It's not easy to live by your human design because your brain is like, what the fuck are you doing? My body will make decisions all of the time, and my brain is screaming, no, 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 I don't want to do that. But I've committed to surrendering to my body, to God's source universe. Okay, I'm so insignificant in the unfolding of my life. Abraham Hicks talks about that in an episode that I listened to over and over and over again. And she was like, you are so insignificant to the unfolding of your life. Do you think you know better than God? We try to micromanage everything. We're like, it has to be in this way. And God's like, bro, I've got such a better option for you here. But because you're focused on this, you're only going to get like, I can't help you because whatever you focus on, you attract more of. And so when you surrender, God, source universe, my higher self, whatever resonates with you, has got me. I've got me. When you can get to that point, it's magical because it doesn't fucking matter what's going on outside of you. And the ironic thing is you're creating your own reality based on the thoughts you think and the feelings that you feel. So you created this shit. So that means you can create your way out of it. This present reality is old news. You've already created a past version of you created what your life is right now. So it's really about surrendering in this moment, in every moment, surrender, 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 so that you can create the life that you actually want to live. And then it's nervous system work, which we're about to get into in the abundance initiations. And so, where can you surrender in your life before you get to that forced surrender? That is the $1 million question. So, that wraps up phase 1 of the Empress path of the Empress. And Empress, the alchemy tool for transformation, is something that you can use over and over and over and over and over. And I even created the EMP technique, which uses the first 3. And this is for contrasting moments where you just had a fight with your partner or something blew up in your life. Expand in love, look in the mirror for opportunities of growth because everything's happening for you. And then pivot your thoughts. And so there's many, many, many ways to utilize this tool. And obviously we dive deeper into how you can use them in the Empress Sanctuary. So now we are stepping into phase 2 of the path of the Empress, which is the abundance initiations. So the abundance initiations was birthed on a dance floor during a 3-day base rave. And it was magical AF. I was losing my mind on the dance floor. I was having energetic orgasms, Kundalini awakening, and I birthed the abundance journey. Right after that, 10K dropped into my account and I started talking about it. I created this journey. I created a 14-day abundance journey. And then that turned into the abundance membership. And then that turned into the re-evolution, the evolved version of the Empress Sanctuary. And that is where we are now. And so step 1, initiation 1 of phase 2 is activating your inner Empress. This is higher self work. This is connecting to your higher self. I have a beautiful process. So I'm a light language channel and I do a lot of light language on the calls especially in phase 2 with all of these activations, because we're going to start doing deeper work now. So now you've laid the foundation with the Empress Alchemy Method. And now we get to dive deeper. And so the first thing we're going to do is activate that Empress version of you so that you can connect with her. And it's really going back to the trigger that I talked about in the Embodied podcast that I did, either the last one or the one before that. And it's tuning into her. It's stepping into who she is now. And I already have an activation in the Empress Sanctuary. And it's so potent because she gives you a healing session and you connect with her. and you learn how to dive deeper. So this will be more of an activated base experience on I think it's January 13th. Oh, not, yeah, January 30th is when this call is happening, this Friday after this podcast is released. And if you are watching at a later date, there's always replays for everything that I do inside of the Empress Sanctuary. And so Empress activation, pretty self-explanatory with that one. And this journey is really about coming home to yourself. And yes, it's 11 months long because I really want to anchor it in. If you stay for the whole 11-month journey, you will not be the same woman at the end of it. Even if you come in for a month, you're not going to be the same woman after it, because this is potent information. It's potent activations. It's potent work that we're doing. It's not for everyone, especially phase 2, because we're going to be diving into shame. We're going to be diving into the nervous system. We will also be weaving in business activations through this. So there's a lot of goodies inside of the Empress Sanctuary. If you're resonating with me, if you're resonating with the world that I've created, that's something that I haven't talked about in any of the previous episodes. So I'm going to talk about it now, because I have created a world. I am a fantasy romance novel junkie. I've read hundreds of fantasy romance novels. And if you're a Fourth Wing fan, I feel like the Empress Sanctuary is like Fourth Wing. So the school that they go through, that's the life that you've already, gone through. That's your school, is the life. Then the gauntlet that they have to go through, that's the phase 1 and phase 2. And then when we get into human design, you've passed the gauntlet. You've gone through, you've let go of your shame. You've increased your capacity to hold and receive. You're aware of your nervous system. You're activating biz alchemy. You're tapping into your human design. You've gone through 13 initiations to prep you, the gauntlet, for riding your dragon. Your body is the dragon. Your body is the all-intelligent vehicle that you live in. Your body is a self-driving Ferrari, and you're designed to be the passenger princess. But if you've read Fourth Wing, take some time to learn how to ride your dragon. And so that's what phase 3 and phase 4 are about in the Empress Sanctuary, human design. So you can become the passenger, so that you can ride your body, so you can activate the dragon within. I feel like the pearl sequence in Gene Keys is the dragon sequence, and that's what I'm calling it, is the dragon sequence, and that's what you'll be going through. I think we start that in May. That is probably the longest of all of the phases, because we're going through 11 placements of your pearl sequence, and we're really diving deep with this. So in my world, it's like a medicine journey. I've sat with ayahuasca 7 weekends total. I've sat with psychedelics probably 150 plus hours over the last like 4 years that I've been sitting with plant medicine. Well, longer than that, because I work with cannabis too. So I've been sitting with psychedelics for 8+ years. And my world is like an ayahuasca ceremony. I've had women start purging. I've had them release a bunch of darker, denser energy. I have had women be like, holy fucking shit, that was like a plant medicine ceremony. And there was no plant medicine ceremony. There was no plant medicine involved. So this is a deep container. It's not for everyone. I am not for everyone. I like to call myself equal parts fairy godmother and initiatrix, because my body will shock the fuck out of you and they'll wrap you with love afterwards. But if you are resonating with me, if you're feeling this, then come join us. It's a beautiful group of women. We're all going on this journey together. There's so much more than the live calls. We have live calls weekly, and we have integration weeks as well. So it's not just back to back to back for 11 months. I give you time to integrate, time to slowly digest the information, and you can ask me any and all questions. You've got me in your back pocket. You've got this badass group of women. You are being held and supported on this journey in this beautiful world that I've created. And I would love to welcome you inside if it feels like a hell yes. So check out the show notes for all of the details. I love you so much. Thank you for getting through this whole thing. If anything resonated with you, if you had any breakthroughs, DM me. I freaking love connecting with my people, my soul tribe on social media. And thank you for listening to this, and I'll see you next time.